Welcome to the PH Journals podcast, where we explore hunting, wildlife management, and conservation. As hunters and conservationists, we know that hunting can be a powerful tool for wildlife conservation, generating revenue and promoting healthy ecosystems. Join us as we explore the latest research, interviewing experts and practitioners, and sharing stories from the field. Whether you're a hunter or conservationist, or simply interested in learning more about this somewhat controversial topic. Hi, my name is Dylan Love. I'm a professional hunter out of the southern tip of the Dark Continent. Join us as I believe hunting is our best conservation tool we have to offer. Guys, welcome to another episode of the PH Journals podcast, and it's one that I've been waiting for some time now. It's an absolute honor and privilege to have two of the gentlemen that are sitting in front of me that have been a part of probably one of the most incredible brands, and one that's going to revolutionize our industry for a very, very long time. And I'm sitting here with Doug and Pierre. And Pierre, I would like you to introduce yourself first. Let's go.
Oh, thanks, Dylan. Yeah, I'm Pierre Prince. I head up the Skullies division, where I manage all the new species that come in, figure out sort of what sizes we'll go with, and
awesome. Doug, your side?
I'm Doug Cocroft. It's great to be back here. Thanks very much. Pierre summed that up in far too few words. Pierre's background in technology has given Skullies a real head start in that he's brought a passion for wildlife and a passion for technology together, and added his expertise into what, as you rightly said, is an incredible brand. I'm passionate about Skullies. It stems from a boyhood wonder of skulls. I mean, most farm boys at some stage stuck a baboon's tooth around their neck or something like that, and they found a skull and you try to clean it with mom's soap or something and got into trouble for it. But yeah, my name's Doug Cocroft, and I am very, very excited about the potential that Skullies holds internationally, locally, for kids, for old folks, for collectors. It's just awesome.
Doug, I mean, let's start off with how this whole process came about, because I mean, since I've met you, I don't think I've ever seen your brain relax. There's always just new inventions and crazy ideas that have come along. This is probably, like I said earlier, one that's going to revolutionize not only the hunting industry, but conservation as a whole. How did you come about this idea, and what was the motivation behind it?
Necessity is the mother of invention. It's been said many times. It's a cliche, but it's very true. 2020 was an interesting year for many people, myself and my team included. We found ourselves with time on our hands. Where we spent the last 20 years hustling and pushing and driving and sculpting and doing all sorts of crazy things around the wildlife industry. And 2020 gave us a bit of time to sit back and, out of necessity, use the tools we had at our fingertips to come up with something that was going to possibly generate an income if the world went to hell in a handbag. Having access to very high-powered computers, which are integral to what we do, as well as various forms of technology. Pierre, myself, and our art director, who's couldn't be with us this morning, Travis, we sat down and spent a bit of time and kind of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids moment, scanned a skull, shrunk the skull. And then what made it truly unique, in my opinion, was that we had a young artist in studio, and this young artist took this bland piece of plastic and hand painted it. This is a young Xhosa chap who, for all intents and purposes, doesn't know how to turn on a computer, has no technological background, loves wildlife, loves art, and he hand painted this miniature buffalo skull, and we had this ooh-ah moment when he put it in my hand, and Travis was standing there grinning like a Cheshire cat, and there was this miniature skull in my hands. I must make it perfectly clear that Skullies is certainly not the first person or first company to scan something and make it small. I didn't invent scanners, nor did I invent 3D printing. And I'm sure, I can guarantee you, we were not the first people to scan a skull and make it small. However, we are the first company to take it to the market commercially. Pierre, how many species do we have?
As of this moment, we have 130 different species.
That's 130 species of perfect skulls from around the world, and we've got more lined up. You know, from walrus to cashmere markhor to yellowback duiker to Pierre. I mean, which one sticks out to you? You spend all the time scanning all of these.
I would probably say the Watusi was the most mind-blowing skull I've scanned out there.
That was a monster.
It was, in Jay's words, just ugly. It's huge.
Ugly big.
Yeah, it's by far the biggest cattle I've ever seen, and really it just blew my mind. And the fact that you can make that small and collectible and add it to a collection is just...
Pierre, just on that Watusi, just to kind of bring this into perspective, Dylan, the Watusi that Pierre's referring to, the spread of the horns must have been a solid...
Oh, it's like my length.
Well, you're a midget, though. Just remember, they can't see you behind the microphone. Pierre, you're about what, 6'2"?
Yes.
So 6'2" across is the spread on this Watusi, but the breadth, the girth of the base of the horn is just astronomical. Yeah. It's like the waist of a Backstreet Boy. It's phenomenal. We've now brought this down to we scaled it 1 in 6, if I'm not mistaken.
That one still need to work on it, but it'll probably come down to 1 in 6, 1 in 7th.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so just on that point now, where was the? I mean, Pierre, trying to pick Doug's brain over here, it sometimes gets challenging at best of times.
Welcome to my world.
But where was that perfect ratio that you decided, okay, we're going to take Doug's idea and we're going to put it into the, what is it, 1 in 6 ratio?
So it was a lot of trial and error, a lot of R&D. But end of the day, we wanted to make this a collectible. And the greatest way of making a big collection available to the general audience is to make it small. So I can't have things half size because no one has that amount of space for 130 different species. Now, so like I said, there was a lot of R&D involved of it. We've gone to like pinky size, we've gone to palm size, we've tried everything, and sort of the happy medium was palm size because it's something you can hold in your hand and it's just cool. Like, this is awesome. It's something you can hold, look around, share with someone, sort of exchange, you know, almost like playing cards, like, oh, I got a buffalo, you got a nyala, let's kind of thing. And so sort of that scaling just seemed right.
Okay. And then moving forward, I mean, it's obviously it's that delicate process between, okay, I've just scanned this and now visually we've got to put this into concept. I mean, that's a challenging process on its own.
Yes.
And some of the ideas just some of the stuff that you guys are just doing as prototypes right now that we can just see, it's just incredible. So where's that fine line that you say, okay, no, well, this isn't going to work, this is going to work, but how do we take it forward from there and how can we expand it?
Pierre touched on the fact that we've tried the different sizes.
Yeah.
Right. So there is a micro range that we're going to be looking at. So consider something that's the size that's small enough to hang on a keyring. Right? kind of a take it with you scenario. The original Skullies collectible is that palm size, and I'm not talking about the palms of Shaquille O'Neal. I'm talking about normal human palms. Palm size that you can use as a desk ornament. You can frame them and put them up in box frames on the wall. You can use them as tradables, collectibles. We have got an exciting digital edition coming down the line, but that's for another day. Then you've got the megas, which are kind of a 1 in 3 scale.
This isn't launch yet, though.
That's not launch yet. So there's a lot of development going on, R&D going on. And then at the same time, collection of species from around the world. Skullies is not just about Africa. Skullies is global. So we're wanting the North Americans, the South American species. We want to go all over the place.
Yeah.
And we haven't really even started to delve under the oceans. So there's potential for this to become a true collectible. We've discussed it, or I've discussed it with other parents. This whole Pokemon craze, it's wild.
Yeah, so it kind of feels like that. If you know the whole Pokemon series where Ash throws a little ball and captures his little creature. I don't have the ball, but I've got that funny little Wally-looking scanner that goes, I got you, I got you. And it's in my collection. I've got it. So it's like, it's that fun experience of, this is a new skull I never knew. Or how can I put it? Like, there's certain animals that you never really know what this kind of skull looks like. So in my travels to the States collecting more species, it was good to see that. And I was like, cool, I can now share this with the rest of the world that probably had the exact same thought pattern.
Well, how was that experience? I mean, Doug's mentioned a couple of species that I don't think I've ever seen a skull.
Yeah.
I mean, that must have been such an unreal... Because, I mean, you actually get to study the skull, all the nicks and cravies, the jaw lines, the jaw bones and all. How was that experience?
One word, mind-blowing.
Do you remember the bulldog?
The bulldog?
Yeah.
So
it's incredible.
We just had an access to everything on this earth. Like, it's like Doug said, we've only just scratched the surface with our 130 we currently have. There's so much more out there to collect, and we really are going to push hard to collect everything and make it available.
There wasn't a freaky moment like you guys mentioned yesterday with the human skull.
You know what? I think let's go to the point where it's not just about an animal skull, it's about osteology. It's about the collection of skulls from creatures. And we certainly are a creature. And I know that the thought of a human skull is slightly macabre, but at the end of the day, if you are going to collect, then collect.
Yeah.
End of story.
It's also educational.
It's absolutely educational.
Yeah, probably one of the most important ways to educate people.
If you look at it, we have all the species of rhinoceros. So we have every rhino species skull, both extinct as well as current. So we're in a position where we're hoping to use Skullies from an educational perspective to create awareness around conserving, looking after the species that we have under our care at the moment. Yeah. We are the custodians of these animals. We need to look after them as a global community. It's not just about let's collect a skull. It's about let's start a movement.
That's such a beautiful way of explaining things. And as a professional hunter, always one of my mottos in life is that we need to educate to preserve and conserve. The thing about conservation is that you got to make sure that every aspect of your teachings and products has to be part of conservation.
100%.
What are the conservation efforts behind Skullies? I know you guys mentioned biodegradable that you guys are using, the materials that you guys are using for the actual print, which is absolutely incredible. So people know that the
and plant-based.
What?
and plant-based.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It was a big step for us.
Yeah.
The investment into getting to this point has been a little bit scary, so we just don't think about it. It's better not to think about it.
The financial investment.
Yeah, we just don't think about that. It's not worth it. But to have a biodegradable, plant-based, non-toxic resin in print, as well as paints and other products, as well as creating countless jobs. Every one of these is hand painted. We've taken folks from underprivileged communities, and in South Africa there is a massive unemployment problem.
Huge.
We're creating jobs. So while I fully anticipate competition down the road, competition's good. I've always said it's healthy, it's good. We're creating jobs. We have an incredibly authentic, the right
Very
word?
authentic.
It's a very authentic story that is going to add to the longevity of Skullies as a brand. And we've created these jobs. And the guys, they've got purpose. They come to work and they've got their cool Skullies outfits on with their skulls on their shirts.
And everyone's excited to be at work every day. It's such a nice feeling to have a team that believes in a product so much that there's never a dull moment.
Yeah.
Like, especially when a new skull comes through and I put it on their table and they're like, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
And then, like, go onto Google, try and find them a reference picture, and then they start playing, and then we start mixing paints, and there's always a level of excitement.
And that's the uniqueness about it. And people don't think that the education's on the back of the box. It's for them as well. I mean, they're never going to touch a Watusi skull in person or something, but it's giving them the opportunity to educate themselves about that. I'll never forget the first time I came in here and you introduced me to the Skullies product. And there was there were about 50 sable skulls on the table, and there's one right towards the back area. And this lady had finished painting the one, put it down, and she looked at this one and she's like, no, well, you know what, that's not right. Picked it up and redid the skull. And that to me was incredible, because the attention to detail that these people have and the passion that they have for it is incredible, and it's very, very inspiring. So like you said, the uniqueness behind it is it's beautiful. It's actually incredible to watch. But I wanted to ask you guys, and what is the step forward for a Skullie? So you purchase a Skullie. What can we do with it? Is it just a desk ornament, or what is the next step? Can we display these guys in some way, or
let's play a game. I like games. You come up with a use and I'll counter it.
Okay. So yes, you can have a desktop stand.
Yeah.
You frame it, put it in a box frame on your wall.
You can have a Christmas tree decoration.
Oh, that's nasty. My daughter came up with that. That's a low blow. Yeah, really. There goes the wind out of my sails. Come on.
He's learned a way to pick your brain, Doug.
The micros. How's this? How about we do a couple of Skullie micros and we stick them in your Crocs?
Yes.
Yes, now you see it.
Fridge
now.
magnets.
So,
let's play chess. How about a chess set made out of Skullies?
Awesome.
that's the sky's the limit.
You see, that's the thing. We don't want to take the fun away from this. And this was done in jest, but it's also an example of how we do spend time. We have a lot of brainstorming sessions there. No idea is ever too far out there.
Yeah.
We have cufflinks, we have belt buckles, we have earring sets. These are all product lines that are going to be falling under the brand of Skullies. Skullies also has, which a lot of people aren't aware of as yet, we have life-size replicas of skulls. These life-size replicas of skulls don't require permits to travel across any international border. If something were to happen, let's say hypothetically, after a few years drops and breaks, we can replace them. We can make more. So to consider a buffalo skull or an elephant skull, we can replicate life-sized replicas in synthetic material that you could use for ornamentary purposes, for educational purposes. And they are just cool. For whatever reason, we all dig a skull. Skulls are cool.
I wanted to touch on that, Doug, and Pierre, maybe you can help us out here. I mean, you guys have mentioned it in the past that a particular client of mine, if he would like his skull scanned and stuff, are you guys offering that service?
Yes, so that is a product offering we have. It's a custom service. So if any individual wants their beloved trophies replicated, we can do that in either life-size form or Skullies palm size, or any other size they want. And we can do it in resin, we can do it in bronze, any material you can think of.
How accurate are they, Pierre?
100%. Okay, nothing's 100%, so let's go 85.
It's pretty close. It's the resolution of the final product. It shows the details. It shows the little knocks and the little nicks. And then with the paint technique that we've introduced, which is, I suppose, the KFC secret recipe or the Coca-Cola secret recipe, is how we actually patina and color these skullies the way we do. It just gives you such a realistic finish.
For an outfitter and professional hunter out there, I think that service is so unique because I think we've spoken about it. It also creates a little bit of aspect of excitement for the client, whereas you can send them a skull of their previous safari as an exciting part to come in, which is really, really exciting from our side. And I think that just offers just such a different aspect to the whole taxidermy process, and the outfitting process, the PHing process. Because if I'm a PH, I want to keep that client excited, or outfitter. If I want to keep that client excited, I want to constantly send him a buffalo that he shot with me on a safari or something that you guys have scanned. And what is the turnaround process on something like that?
3 months.
Yeah.
So it all, obviously, 3 months from the date we receive it, obviously. Because obviously there's certain processes that the skull needs to go through before it comes to us. But yeah, from the time we scan it, print it, ship it, or paint it, ship it, you can expect around 3 months.
Okay. I mean, such a unique way, and like you said, you're doing so many different things. What are the product lines that we can look forward to in the future? What have you guys got planned in the pipeline? Get people excited a little bit about it.
As I mentioned, the micro range coming in with keyrings. That's pretty cool. So we got keyrings coming out. The mega range, which are going to be more ornamental. We've got quite a bit of bronze work that's happening. The foundry is doing very well, and we're able to cast every single skullie in bronze as well. And now you're adding a heritage aspect to it. Bronze has always been a long-lasting heritage piece. So we're adding tremendous value to skullies in that regard. Mirror hangers. Guys love hanging things from their mirrors in their trucks. So yeah, we've got some cool skulls hanging from mirrors all over the country now. You jump into a lot of the PH's vehicles and you find them there.
That's cool.
I think what is important, I'm going to kind of take a step back as well. I mentioned that this stems from a love of osteology and skulls, the anatomy of animals. Skullies is appealing to a global market, whether you are from the hunting community or from an educational community. That's not to say you have to be a hunter to enjoy a skullie at all. We've had so many people buying and collecting skullies that are far from hunters. They're not hunters themselves, but they have a love for wildlife and a fascination and an interest in osteology and skulls. Universities, we've got a lot of veterinary societies that are interested in what we are doing from the skullies, the miniature side of various species. So it's got more soul than just being an addition to a trophy room. And I think that's quite important, and it's something that excites me. I know it's something that Pierre's spoken about many times, and he said one of the things he really is enjoying about this journey is it's not just about a trophy. It's about something that is collectible. It's gone through a scientific, technical journey to get to this cool product.
Yeah.
I mean, on the table in front of me, on your right, there's a bronze lion skull, and on my right is a miniature skullie lion skull. And I'll tell you what, they're both pretty cool. But they sit in different places and they have a different appeal. So the appeal, the breadth of appeal of Skullies is something that I believe is going to take it a long way.
It's something you learn to become more passionate about. I mean, being in the hunting industry, I've always worked with skulls, but I never knew I would actually become passionate about it, because you want to learn more about it.
Absolutely.
Pierre, I mean, do you come from a hunting background? Is this something that you've always had an interest in, or is this just something that's grown on you?
So, quite funnily enough, I don't come from a hunting background. I grew up in Joburg, in the big city.
Okay.
Never ever had an opportunity to go out into the wild, but I do love mountain biking and I do love trail running.
Okay.
So, therefore, I love the outdoors.
Yeah.
I like spending my time outdoors, and especially with trail running, like the opportunities of where we get to run, we get to see these animals and all of that. And a couple of years ago, I got the opportunity to sort of work within the hunting industry from a media perspective, and that just got me exposed to more animals than what I would necessarily on a run, because your approach is completely different. You're not actually scaring off things.
Yeah.
So I guess having that exposure and now having the opportunity to collect these things just makes me more appreciative of what is out there and what we do have access to.
We've mentioned the Watusi. What has been your favorite skull to work with?
I don't know, 130. I would probably say the coolest skull and probably the hardest for me to process was the killer whale.
Oh, really?
It's just
all those teeth.
All those teeth. Like I just looked at when I at this collector's house that we were at, and I just looked at it and I was like, what on earth is this gnarly creature? I thought it was something from the prehistoric age.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that's killer whale. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I have to have that. And yet again, I know we've touched on this multiple times, but it's just educational. You see these things and it's like thinking it's extinct, but actually it's there, it's around us, and
And you can take it home and collect it for $35.
Exactly. It's wild. It's such an unreal feeling that you get when you hold these things in your hand, because you know that opportunity is now afforded to anyone. Absolutely. Anyone can go onto the website, purchase a skullie, and it's like, I promise you, honestly, you're holding that species in your hand. It's a very unreal. I mean, I've held life-size lion skulls, but knowing that you're holding that piece, I mean, my daughter absolutely adores this stuff. I mean, she's a farm girl through and through, so she dives in and touch it around and stuff. But I wanted to ask you, with all the teeth and all that, it popped into. Are you guys looking to do full skeletons at some point in miniature? We
are already doing full skeletons. It's just a question of how do we sell them? How do we bring them into market? How do people enjoy them? I think is the most important thing. So we've got some ideas, but to kind of keep it simple, we've done skeletons. I mean, Pierre, you did. We've done.
I've got a lion and I've got a rhino.
Yeah. So we've got those two. We've done those two just as a starting point. It's a lot of bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got to scan literally each individual bone.
Yeah, it's painstaking.
It takes weeks.
Yeah.
The editing behind every single one of these on the digital side, it's not just a case of zap, scan, print at all.
It's a process.
Yeah.
We have a substantial team that's behind this, as I mentioned, job creation, but more importantly, out of necessity, we have a strong team there.
Doug, before we start closing off things, your distribution in South Africa is pretty much covered. Where to next for you guys? Are you guys looking into the American market? I know you guys were over there in the shows.
We have a couple of opportunities that have been lined up. We have been working with an organization in the United States, and we're very excited. Let's put it this way. Distribution in the United States is wrapped up.
Yeah.
So Skullies is going to be readily available, easily available. We've been posting them and couriering them from South Africa, which has been an experience. But
third world country problems.
Yeah, third world country problems. But we're in a position now where the US is opening up. We have opportunities in Europe as well.
Okay.
I don't want to use the term, but it's an interview process. We need to make sure that the people that we are working with are like-minded. The financial model behind this, a percentage of every single skullie that is sold globally is going to be invested into an escrow account in South Africa. We'll then be allocating that percentage annually to various conservation projects. This is very important. It's the purpose and the cause. Pierre and I have discussed this at length. We will be choosing the causes and the purpose-driven conservation projects that we put the money into. Okay. We want to be a part of it. We want to give other people the opportunity to be a part of conservation. So in the near future, every single skullie that you collect, you will be able to actually quantify your contribution into that specific conservation project. The relocation of honey badgers from one province to the next, the movement of elephants from one reserve to another. We want people to be invested in those projects by Skullies donating a percentage of every sale to these projects.
Yeah.
So it's super cool. It's very exciting. We've got a lot to learn from how to structure these things to get the absolute benefit to the animal. There's a lot of, and I smile when I say this, there's a lot of conservation projects out there that I don't believe are keeping the animal as the most important player in the game. We want to make sure that what we donate actually goes into active conservation. We want to document it, and we want to shout it from the rooftops, because it's not, for us, it's not just about the guy who does or doesn't hunt. It's about everyone who loves and respects an animal.
That's incredibly important, Doug. And I mean, yeah, like I said, you guys are revolutionizing this whole industry, and not just, again, not just the hunting, but the whole skull and anatomy side of things. I mean, if I ever had to put my finger on it, you kind of wish as an individual now that's fallen in love with bones and skulls, and you wish that you could pick up a dodo skull and actually understand. So this now, I mean, it's engraved into digital systems now for life. I mean, those skulls will never be extinct, so you don't have to go and sit with your little brush and dust off a skull out of the middle of nowhere. Let's
look after it while it's here,
yeah,
as opposed to waiting till it's gone and then trying to make a plan.
Yeah.
It's Skullies, dude. It's fun. It's just got that cool moment. Pierre is anyone who knows him is an enthusiastic, wildlife, outdoors-driven human being, and the number of times I've walked into the lab, and he's like a mad scientist in there, and he's scanning and turning and twisting and editing and printing, and we've got color palettes for every single species now. So it's come a long way in what is a short space of time. Yeah, it's been we've had
Almost 2 years.
yeah, it's almost 2 years. We've been fiddling with it since 2020, but
Isn't it mind blowing to see how much you guys have achieved in such a short space of time?
it's awesome.
It's crazy.
We got a heck of a team, and
Well, he's got to be a man scientist to pick your brain up.
yeah. Good luck with that one. Huh? Good luck.
But Pierre, I wanted to touch on quickly on the custom side of things. I hope that people aren't going to blow your guys' emails up too much with custom requests, but how can they get involved with that? Is everything on the website?
So the custom orders aren't available on our website, but they're more than welcome to contact us at orders@skullies.co.za. My assistant will gladly give all the information they require.
Because you know that's important, especially I know you guys are catering for everyone, but guys coming out doing safaris and stuff, that's an important part, especially if they want to be a part of the process. And like you said, be a part of conservation. Such a unique way to be a part of conservation. It's you're kind of hands-on at the same time, but supporting it financially, which is
all the guys from the hunting community side of things, all that the hunter would do wherever he's having his taxidermy done, get that taxidermist to contact us, and we've got a team that travels the country scanning and creating files and doing
on site. Huh?
We go and do it on site.
That's crazy.
We don't like moving these valuable products away from where they're being produced. So just from the collector at heart, all they've got to do is drop us a line, tell us a line, and tell us where the product is, and one of our team will get involved.
Doug, it's been absolutely inspiring to chat to you guys. I love the passion that comes through. It really is. It's been something very, very special, and I'm very, very fortunate to be a part of this whole process. So thank you so much, Doug, to you and Pierre for the wonderful opportunity. And I wish you guys all the best for the future.
Thanks so much, and stay involved, and we appreciate the shout outs, and we appreciate you always standing behind good, clean outdoor living and conservation. It's very cool.
It's important.
Cool. Thanks, Dylan.
Guys, thanks so much. We'll catch up with you guys soon.
Super.
Cheers.
The journal is brought to you by Treason. Don't just blend, become. Splitting image taxidermy. Worth remembering. Maxxis tires. Covering pHs over any terrain. Magnum archery. Skullies. The little things are what makes life wonderful. Vanandi blends. Changing the game. FFS Outdoor. Versatile gear for any situation. PH Toolbox. Helping you make your own adventure.